The original theoretical framework for describing metamemory was put forth by Nelson and Narns in 1990. In their two-level conception, you have the objective level being this level of regular cognition and memory functions, and then you have this meta level, which is comprised of metacognition and metamemory functions. The idea is that as information flows from the objective level to the meta level, the individual gains the ability to monitor their thoughts. And as information flows from the meta level to the objective level, it produces the ability to control behavioral responses. Neuroimaging studies have utilized this investigational model to explore the neural correlates of metamemory processes and have led to the discovery of different brain regions involved in monitoring and controlling thoughts and behavior. One thing that I did not go into very deeply in the book, that I'll go into a little bit more deeply here, are some of the different types of metamemory that have been discovered. The first is the feeling of knowing, which refers to the sensation that you know something, but you just can't currently recall it. It's like on the tip of your tongue. But you might be able to recall it if you were given a hint or like a list of information that you could kind of pick it out of. Essentially, the feeling of knowing is when you can't recall a specific word, but you're confident that you could recognize it if you heard it. Another common form of metamemory are judgments of learning. Now, judgments of learning are predictions that are made during or after learning about how well the material's been learned and how likely you'll be able to kind of remember it later. So you might use a judgment of learning after studying a chapter. For example, you might judge that you will remember 80% of the material for an upcoming test. And it turns out that some people are very good at this. It is also important to note that feelings of knowing and judgments of learning, they can be developed through practice. Similar to judgments of learning are ease of learning judgments, which are made before learning, and they kind of involve a prediction about how easy or difficult it'll be to learn some new information. For example, you might make an ease of learning judgment when you look at a list of vocabulary words and predict that some of the words will be easier to learn than others. This can be very helpful when laying out a study plan because it helps you to focus your energy on the things that are going to be the most difficult and not languish on the information that you already know. Many of these metamemory skills are related to our ability to make predictions about our learning. For example, being able to predict the proper amount of time to study or complete a task, or being able to determine which study strategies would be most effective for the absorption of different kinds of information utilizing metamemory. However, there are also underlying qualities of metamemory like the time spent in memory search, which is just simply refers to the amount of time that you spend trying to retrieve information from your memory, which will be different for different people. And another sort of metamemory competency is what are called go, no-go. These are competencies that are studied by creating situations where a participant must decide to respond or go or not respond, which is no-go, based on some type of criteria that they need to be following. It's kind of like a memory task where they have you decide to press a button if you recognize a word from a previously studied list or not. These kind of investigations are often used to investigate the cognitive control and decision-making processes of those with attention or impulsivity issues. Just like other forms of memory, metamemory can be improved with conscious practice in the use of certain strategies that can be taught and learned. And we'll talk a little bit more about these in future episodes.